For as long as I can remember, my favorite memory has always been taking a warm bath, putting my favorite Spider-Man pajamas on, and climbing into bed as my mother sang me to sleep with a gentle kiss on the forehead. I was 16 and the day was like any other. I woke up and made breakfast, said goodbye to my parents, and off I went to school. About 1 p.m. I got a phone call from my mother, which, although she was my mom, it was unusual to get a call from her. I picked up and all I could hear was the muffled breaths of who I thought was my mother. But those breaths became heavier by the minute. Then the call ended. Once I called back, my mom answered, acting confused as to why I called. I assumed something went wrong with the signal, or I was just hearing things. 7 p.m. I arrive home after staying out with my best friend Jackson. My father greets me and I ask him where my mom is. "Hey Dad, where's Mom?" "Oh, she's in bed. She wasn't feeling too good earlier, so I told her to go rest." "Oh, okay." I got a strange call from her, but it must have been a butt dial or something. I hate when that happens. "David, get in here now." My father and I both heard my mother call for me in an angry tone of voice. I assumed I must have done something wrong, so I went into her room and asked what was going on. "Oh, David, you're home. I didn't know. How was school?" I was confused minutes, if not seconds ago. She just called me into the room. I brushed it off as if nothing happened, and we had a normal conversation about my day, how she was feeling, etc. It's now 11 p.m. and I'm getting ready for bed. My mother comes into my room to say goodnight, as she always does, but her face turns from a smile to an angry look, as if she hated me. She scolded me for not wearing my pajamas and not having a bath, as if I was 7 all over again. "Mom, I'm 16, I don't wear pajamas. I practically sleep naked. And I just take a shower before school in the morning. Maybe you should go to bed. You must be tired." She didn't say anything and just left, as if nothing happened. The next morning, my mom was standing outside having a cigarette, as she normally does in the morning. I went out to greet her, but she ignored me. When she finally realized I was there, she had no recollection of the night before, or anything from that day at all. She was acting weird, as if she was sleepwalking, but only towards me. She acted completely normal towards my father. 1 p.m. Another phone call from my mother. "Hey Mom, what's up?" "Get home." Her voice sounded like she had been punched in the throat. I hung up and went home, explaining to a local police officer who asked me why I was out of school, that I had a dentist appointment, which was made up, of course. When I got home, my mother looked at me and asked why I was home so early. I have never been more confused in my life. "You told me to come home on the phone, so here I am." The look on her face changed as if she had seen a ghost. She stormed off. I'm almost certain I heard the basement door open as she went in. I brushed it off, and when my father got home from work later that night, I explained that Mom wasn't acting right, that she might need to go to a hospital. Once again, I went to bed. My mother came in my room and, like the night before, was angry that I wasn't in my pajamas. I played along just in case there was something seriously wrong with her, so I didn't want to provoke her in any way. She left, and I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep. I awoke at roughly 2:37 a.m. My phone was going off. I was getting a phone call from my mom. I answered. "Hello, Mom?" "David, help me." Over the phone, I heard the basement door. That old, crackly sound it had to it. That's the only thing it could be. I was panicking, thinking there might have been an intruder who locked my mother in the basement. I opened my door slowly, only to see my mother, just standing in the hallway, mumbling something to herself. She was swaying back and forth, but I never heard her come up the stairs. I didn't know what to do, so I just made a judgment call and decided to go check out the basement. I slowly creeped downstairs, not making a sound, slowly opening the basement door as I made my way downstairs. My heart almost jumped out of my chest when I saw my own mother, one arm chained to the wall, covered in cuts and bruises. I ran to her, shaking her, asking her what happened. I stayed with her the rest of the night until 6 a.m. She never woke up. No matter how hard I shook her, how much I begged or cried, she never woke up. But if my mother was here, who was the woman I saw in the hall? Who put me to bed? Who was it? I crept upstairs and got into bed, my heart pounding the whole time. 6:30 a.m. A knock on my door. My mom, or whoever it is, came into the room. Didn't say a word. Shook me awake and just left. I got out of bed and found my dad. Waited for my mother to go outside for a cigarette, and rushed him to the basement. He threw up at the sight of my mom's body, just lying there. We rushed out of the house, hearing that thing. It wasn't even my mother's voice, it was deeper. It was more angry. I looked back, and I can't describe what I saw standing in our doorway. We went to the nearest police station and informed them of what happened. They searched the house, and sure enough, they found my mother's body beaten to death. My father and I moved houses. Hell, we moved countries. Anywhere but that town. I'm currently 26. I live on my own. My father has a new girlfriend. Of course I feel uncomfortable, but she's nice. After that night, my life has been as normal as you could imagine. It's now 4 a.m. I'm awoken to my phone going off. It's my friend from high school. We call for a bit and he explains to me that he needs somewhere to sleep. His house just burnt down after he accidentally left the oven on. After we hang up, I receive a notification on my phone. I expected it to be from my friend asking for my address, but as I looked at the name, my blood ran cold. It was a text from my mother.